Something strange in the neighborhood. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Hi everybody, Awesome Joe here. Thank you guys so much for taking in the time of your day to watching another episode of Awesome Joe's Play Back-to-Back Movie Reviews. I know I am extremely late for doing this video. Forgive me for having to being late. The thing is that I am on vacation right now. I just came back on a little trip and came back yesterday and tried to prepare everything to do this video. But now that I'm back, I got everything put together. Now we can go ahead and talk about this movie. I went and took this trip on my vacation the day after I watched the movie that was released that evening. And all of my gear, everything that I do to prepare for these videos, I left at home. So here I am, ready to go. I hope that you guys went ahead and watched this movie, and I hope that everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. And so here we go. We are talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife, a movie that has been delayed already within this last year or two 4 times because of the global pandemic. Most likely, like on how every other movie that has been released this year into theaters and on streaming services. We finally got this movie. The original movie came out back in 1984. Then the second movie back in '89. Then we got our 2016 female-led version, which was a complete disaster. Just want to go ahead and point this out here that movie alone, being female-led, was not a problem for me. That was actually one of the high pluses of that film that I enjoyed so much. Just the movie critically alone, I was just not that fascinated by. But a movie such as this, Ghostbusters Afterlife, finally here in theaters, getting the chance to going out and watching this, directed by Jason Reitman, the son of the original director of the 1984 film, Ivan Reitman, is... Even though that it is his biological son, it doesn't give us any higher chances of thinking that this movie was going to be a huge hit. Well, in fact, that it was actually a good movie. I really did have fun with this. Now, point out this, that this movie, even though that it was just released last week and I'm a week late, I'm pretty sure the majority of everyone who's watching this video has already watched the film. So if I tend to throw out spoilers, which most cases I do, you guys have been warned. It is going to be here. If you guys haven't watched this movie just yet, pause this video, go to your local theater, check out the film, and come right on back and become part of the awesome conversation that we have here on Awesome Joe Movie Reviews. But as of now, we are going to go ahead and talk about this movie. I had so much fun with it. There's a lot of fan services that are put into this movie just for the Ghostbusters fans out there, because to be honest with you, the original 1984 movie is already 35 going to 40 years old already, and it still holds up to this day. I have a nephew we went to go watch this movie together. He's only 9 years old, and his birthday was a couple months back. And no lie, his birthday was really just all Ghostbusters themed. I loved it. It was fantastic. And it surprises me that a movie such as Ghostbusters back in 1984 is still holding up to this day for modern day kids as young as my nephew, being 9 years old, and even my niece, who is 5, is just fantastic. It's just amazing. Even if we didn't have a modern day Ghostbusters movie like Afterlife, or even the 2016 film, or even the '89 Ghostbusters sequel, the single movie alone, 1984 original film, still holds up alone to this day. Not even with the animated real Ghostbusters TV show that I somewhat remember watching. But going on to the cast here, we have the lead, which is Phoebe, played by McKenna Grace, who is a phenomenal actress. I mean, she is just amazing, and I cannot believe her performance that has been brought into this movie. She is, of course, obviously the granddaughter to the character Egon Spengler, played by Harold Ramis, who had passed away back in 2014, and this movie is based off of him and his family legacy being passed on to his granddaughter, and her brother, played by Trevor, played by Finn Wolfhard, which we all know happens to be one of the main characters in the Netflix popular series Stranger Things. And I feel like we only gotten that character in this in particular film just because people are aware of how his performance acts in the Stranger Things series can transfer that in some similarities to this film. So it was great getting to seeing him, but I felt like his character wasn't really necessary, but only to bring in the teen audiences to feel more familiarized with a modern day Ghostbusters film. Just in case if they happen to have missed that incredible opportunity. Speaking of incredible opportunity here, we got another character, Mr. Gruber, who is actually played by the very lovable Paul Rudd. Everybody, including myself, loves Paul Rudd. Whatever he pops up in is always fun to watch. I can never get enough of Paul Rudd. He's a fun dude. I never met him personally. I really would have loved that opportunity. But just getting to seeing the way that he enacts himself in every single acting project that he puts himself towards is always a huge, great, entertaining fun. The mother of these kids, who is the daughter of the Egon character, is Callie, played by Carrie Coon. And then we got this really cool character named Podcast. I love the name Podcast. We never really get his real official name, but just having to hear the name Podcast, that's a really cool character name. And is played by Logan Kim, and he kind of gives off a similarity to Ray Stance's, Dan Aykroyd's character from the original '84 film. So I think that he is more of the comedic performance of this movie, giving a lot of more funny entertainment to the film, making the movie much more fun and having a lot of laughs. So then we get another character called Lucky, who is played by Celeste O'Connor. And she seems to be just only a love interest for a teenager's perspective for the Trevor character. Like I said, just to bringing in teen audiences to enjoy this movie a little bit more, having to know that it's not just for children only, but for teens as well. So I think that this movie was really highly entertaining, and we get a lot of cool references, a lot of fan services, like with the Ecto-1 vehicle. Just to hearing the sirens once more again was phenomenal. The proton packs were really cool to watch, and a lot of really neat new gadgets, new tools that we didn't get to see in the original films. But seeing that they have been used before and are updated within our modern day film is phenomenal. We do get the soundtrack that does come out into this movie as well too, just to giving you some more references to know that you are here watching an actual Ghostbusters movie and not a Stranger Things movie. Because in some way, if it wasn't a Ghostbusters movie, it would feel like a Stranger Things movie, but it was still fun and entertaining to watch. A lot of people would complain to think that because since Slimer is like the iconical ghost character for the Ghostbusters franchise, that we would expect for him to pop up into this movie. But unfortunately not. But yet we get something a little similar to the character, a much more modern day Slimer, but not Slimer himself, but called Muncher. And Muncher has some slime effects, just like Slimer does, but he likes to chew on metal and spits them out like bullets out of a machine gun. So I thought that was really cool, and I love this really cool chase scene that we get in the middle of the film. It really does bring a lot of action to the movie, and I had fun with it. It was really fun getting to seeing the really cool gadgets that we've never seen before, like I mentioned, but yet they have been used before. But it's so cool getting to seeing it. One thing that would really bother a lot of audiences, including myself, but it was just one of those just go with it moments. There's some gadgets and gizmos that are being used in this movie that they immediately acknowledge as to how to use it and how it works when they are just children. Now, I understand that the Phoebe character is smart, but it really just takes me out of the film just a notch. Getting to know that they happen to know how it works and what to do with it, and but like I said, it's just one of those just go with it moments. You know, just don't even think about it. Just go along with the movie, and from there on, it'll be a lot more fun. Just don't think about it too much. So I really do think that within those moments, it's just something to ignore by. Now, we already know with this movie, since it's a Ghostbusters movie, we need to have the OG cast come back. But speaking of the OG cast, because there's a whole bunch of them that do come back here. But before I talk about that, we have the villain of the film, which is in the trailers themselves. Zool's coming back from the first movie. And I was kind of iffy trying to figure out as to who's going to be playing this character. Is it going to be the same actress? Or is it going to be a recasting of a modern day actress to look more young and more modernized? Well, she comes up, or he, or it's not really described as a he or she, but according to the human eye, it's a she. And I could not believe my own eyes when I saw that it was casted as Olivia Wilde playing the Zool character. And as soon as I saw her portray the character, immediately I said, wow, the resemblances are uncanny. It's really good. I really did love, I love Olivia Wilde. I mean, she's a great actress. She's a great director. And getting to seeing her once more again, especially in a Ghostbusters movie, I loved it. It was really good. I really had fun getting to seeing how she portrayed the character onto the big screen. Then there's this character, Ivo Shandor. I'm not going to get into too much detail with this character because he's barely even in the movie for several seconds and then already killed off just like that. And it's played by none other than J.K. Simmons. Now, I'm aware that J.K. Simmons does work in a lot of Jason Reitman movies. And just getting to seeing him in this, I felt like it was a lost opportunity because Simmons is a phenomenal actor. I always enjoy getting to see him in everything that he puts himself into. And this one, even though that it was just for a matter of seconds, I just couldn't even believe that he was even in the movie. But just in and out, and it was just that quickly, and I couldn't believe it. I felt like for a actor as Simmons, he deserved more screen time. He only had one line, gets killed off, and then that was it. I don't know. I think that there should have been more depth to that character. So here we go. Here are the OG characters that are coming back. We have this final fight scene going on, and it didn't hit me in the way that I expected it to. What I wanted, this was my vision. This is how I envision how the whole thing should have happened. Since this is a modern day Ghostbusters movie, and then we are introduced to a much more younger set of Team Ghostbusters, trying to try to re-invite to the audiences on how this team should work together as a team, and not just acting like a bunch of resisting children. So I find that they work together trying to take down the Zool character, but they are not strong enough to be holding Zool down on their own. Even though that they are finally working together as a team, they needed a little bit more support. And so that's when, and it shows in the trailer that our OG characters do come back. You get Ray coming back, Peter coming back, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. You get Winston coming back, Ernie Hudson. It was great getting to see them all. I find that they should all have stood right behind the children Ghostbusters, helping, supporting them, to holding down the Zool character and trying to trap her. And then as well too, there's the Phoebe character. She's the only one because since her grandfather had passed. And I'm like thinking, you're referencing the character as a ghost throughout the entire movie, but yet we don't get to see him. It's more of a paranormal experience. But then here you get to see a ghost-like figure popping up right behind her, supporting her in this final fight, and it's none other than Egon Spengler. And it was just phenomenal, even getting to see how great and realistic and lifelike. I don't know, maybe it's because of the ghost CGI that was put onto him. I don't even know who played this Egon Spengler character, but whoever it was or however they did it looks exactly like Harold Ramis. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just say this, that I'm just going to say it is Harold Ramis, because the CGI effects are just spectacular. I couldn't even believe it with my own eyes. I remember my nephew, he kept, nagging at me and asking me, how come he's not talking? Well, I think that it would have been a little bit overwhelmed and a little disrespectful if the character would have spoken. It was just a surprise, just getting to even seeing the Egon character in ghost form in this movie. That was a huge treat. The Egon character popped up at the beginning of the movie, and I've had some people ask me, who was that character at the beginning of the film? Well, right away I already knew that this was already Egon. And I know that they couldn't show him because, of course, Mr. Ramis passed away back in 2014. But just getting to seeing this spectacular scene going on and seeing it, because the majority of the film, they throw the Egon character off like as if he's this this a-hole of a character who abandoned the entire OG Ghostbusters, who abandoned his entire family, but for specific reasons that he couldn't explain. He was out saving the world, preventing it from going into a total annihilation from the Zool character, because it was all going to happen all over again from what they accomplished in the first film. So that's what was going on. Those are the spoilers pretty much right there. But it was just great getting to see everybody again. Of course, like in the trailer, we do get to see Janine, played by Annie Potts, coming back as well, who happens to have been a romantic fantasization to the Egon character in the original film, but unfortunately never showed that as if she could have been the parent of the Callie character, of their daughter, and being the grandmother to the grandchildren. It never really specified any of that, and it didn't really seem like it did. So in some way or form, sometime down the road after the first film, Egon fell in love with somebody else in particularly and had a family with them. So, and I love how the ending of the movie, it ends itself with, and let me say this, I admire so much of Bill Murray's sarcasm. The way that he portrays himself in this movie is just great. It was great getting to see his sarcastic character all over again. And then getting to seeing Dan Aykroyd coming in and finally agreeing that he is a god, because I knew Zoo was going to ask them this question when she reunites with these the OG Ghostbusters, is, are you a god? And it's like, and everybody's just looking at him like, Ray, you better answer this question correctly this time, because the last time you said no, that sucked. So it was great getting to seeing that, and there's a lot of references to Revelations 7:12 that was first mentioned in the original movie, and bringing it back several times into this film. So it was great getting to seeing that once more again. Me having to being a man of faith, so it was great getting to seeing everybody coming back. Almost everybody. At the ending of the movie, it gave out a four herald rememoration to the ending of the movie, just to say, we miss you, we love you, you were great to the Ghostbusters franchise, and we wish you were here with us, this and that. So it was great getting to seeing that happen, and then you get the really cool Ecto 1 driving back into New York. Obviously, it shows that this movie is going to have a sequel if this movie happens to be successful. You get a mid-credit scene and an end-credit scene. I knew that those were going to happen. What they were, I had no idea what they were going to be. But it was great getting to know that there was going to be more fun to the film. You got the credits rolling with the original Ghostbusters thing coming up. You get all the cast being thrown out, including the original cast: Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts, and then it shows Sigourney Weaver, and I'm like thinking, where was Sigourney Weaver in this movie? I knew she was coming back for this movie, but she didn't pop up in the movie. But she happens to have been part of the mid-credit scene that was dealing with the electric shock testing that Peter Venkman did in the beginning of the first Ghostbusters movie. Just vice versa. Now he's being shocked by the Dana character, and I don't know if it showed that, because they did show that they have wedding rings on, but didn't specify as to whether or not they were married or were they living together underneath the same roof. Nor did it have anything to do with the movie. It was just more fan service, but it was very fun to watch, and having to know that it's being thrown out to him now rather than having to use it as a flirtation device for women, very attractive women. And then the end credit scene was a deleted scene from the original Ghostbusters movie, talking about some coin between Janine and Egon, and knowing that she still has that coin to this day. It's really cool with her having this conversation with Winston being a very successful rich man, and he's going to be bringing back the Ghostbusters business back into New York, reopening up the firehouse, which was mentioned to being now a modern day Starbucks, which wasn't the case. And then shows our red goes to jail thing with the blinking red light, specifying that there's something inside it wanting to come out, waiting for the day when it's whoever it is this turn. If you were to ask me, I know that a lot of people were not very fond of the Ghostbusters 2 movie, but if it were me, I would have guessed that if there were to have been a mid or end credit scene, it would justify Ghostbusters 2 by introducing back the painting, the painting that was in Ghostbusters 2, saying that, okay, we're going to go ahead and give you a much more modern day, better version of Ghostbusters 2. So it would have been cool if that were to happen, but there was no references, barely anything going on in this Ghostbusters movie talking about Ghostbusters 2. Just pretty much just the first film alone, and that's it. But the movie itself alone was great, fantastic, phenomenal. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm sure that you guys did too. Rotten Tomatoes went ahead and gave it a 62%. For me, like I said, I love the movie, and I don't judge my ratings due to what Rotten Tomatoes says. I just look at what it says, and right after when I decide as to what I rated it, and I was very close by giving it a 70%. So I love the movie. It has its flaws, but it's a fun Ghostbusters flick. It's not meant to be the best movie in the entire world, just having to being a fun fan service film for modern day audiences out there who not only just enjoyed Ghostbusters as to what it was back in the day, but for what it is now today. So it was really fun. I hope that you guys had fun with it too. So that's my review, everybody, for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Have you guys seen it? If you have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns, please feel free to leave it down in the comment section on the bottom. Let's have an awesome time talking about this movie or any movies that you like to talk about in general, because I love to talk about movies, but most importantly, I love to talk about them with you. And don't forget that you can check out some more of my videos on Facebook and on YouTube at Awesome Joe Movie Reviews. Don't forget to click on that like and subscribe button there, you guys. I really do appreciate everybody's support on my channel, because it's a huge personal hobby of mine, and I love sharing my personal hobby amongst all of you wonderful viewers out there. I am going to be extremely busy since it's going to be Thanksgiving tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. There's going to be a lot more reviews coming up very soon, talking about the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. And I recently saw Squid Games for the first time. I have been intimidated so much to getting to watching this series, and I finally did watch it back to back, all 9 episodes within one day, and I've been meaning to do a review off of it. So I'm really excited to getting to doing that. So that's coming up very soon, and so much more. I know that there's many movies that are coming out into the theaters and on streaming services, TV shows. I know that there's Chucky that I got to talk about too, because the show just keeps on getting much more interesting. A new episode popped up today, and the final episode of this season is coming out next week. So there's a lot to talk about, so much to do. Once more again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Keep on living the dream, and as always, stay awesome. Thanks you guys once more again, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye.